Hello and welcome back to Will's World Reviews and more. Today I'll be doing my predictions for WWE Payback 2016, which is coming up this Sunday. And I think with 8 matches announced and the Vince McMahon segment, we're pretty much looking at the final card. Possibly they may add Emma versus Becky Lynch as a bit of an extra bonus match, or they might announce it on SmackDown. But I'm going to go ahead and think that this is pretty much the solid card for the 3-hour, 4-hour with the pre-show pay-per-view. So yeah, looking forward to it. It seems fresh, but at the same time, you know, I'm a bit concerned that they're going to go down the obvious routes again. So we'll see. On the kickoff, we've got Ryback versus Kalisto again in a rematch for the United States title. As much as I don't really like Ryback, just for the sake of keeping things interesting, I would almost like him to win the title against Kalisto. At least then that might kind of, you know, spark it into life a little bit, because it seems to have been dormant since WrestleMania. Either that, or I'd like Sin Cara to screw Kalisto and then they get a feud. You know, or Sin Cara tries to help Kalisto retain, and then that causes a feud between those two. You know, because they're not really needed as a tag team anymore, Village Dragons. But we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go with Ryback on this one. We then have the announcement. You know, Vince McMahon is going to announce who will run Raw in the future. Will it be Shane? Will it be Stephanie? So, depending on who it is, I hope there's some kind of explanation from Vince as to why Shane has been running it since WrestleMania, basically. Also, you know, where Triple H is going to fit into all this. Whether, you know, he's now basically, you know, in charge of NXT in real life, and that's it. And, you know, what's going to happen with there. So hopefully there'll be some kind of explanation going off along with the final decision, and not something dodgy is going to happen. You know, I want it to be concrete. So, but I wouldn't like to guess who is going to be in charge. You know, obviously it seems like Shane's sticking around. So hopefully that happens either way. You know, there's a possibility that Triple H shows his face and we have a Triple H versus Shane feud, which should be interesting. We've got the women's title, Natalya versus Charlotte. So Ric Flair is in Charlotte's corner and Bret Hart is in Natalya's corner. We had Bret Hart say yesterday that he's not particularly bothered about appearing at Payback. You know, he's a bit disillusioned with the company at the moment, but he's doing it for his niece, Natty. And as much as I'd like Natalya to win this title with Bret Hart in her corner, you know, I think Charlotte is going to retain, and they're definitely building up to a 4 horsemen for the women's title at some point in the future. Intercontinental title, you got Cesaro versus The Miz. Cesaro has to win this for me. You know, I mean, Miz has been a great champion for transitional purposes with, you know, the heel that he is, and with Maurice coming back. But give Cesaro the push, give him the win. Cesaro all the way for this one. You got the Vaudevillians versus Enzo and Big Cass for the #1 contendership for the tag titles. Originally, I thought they were going to have the actual tag match as well on the card, but it looks like they're not doing that now. So whether we get a bit of an intro from the New Day, we probably will. And I think Enzo and Big Cass have got this in the bag. Vaudevillians will probably settle into a nice feud with another team at some point. You've got Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, which should be an astonishing match. Really don't mind who wins this, because I like them both. I'll probably just pick Kevin Owens, because I think he, you know, being the heel, I think that's the way to start off this feud. So I'd go for Kevin Owens, but looking forward to it. Amazing match. Can't wait. Hopefully this just builds and builds and builds, and they add stipulations as it goes, and hopefully eventually it does come down to, you know, those two fighting over the title at some point, or a title would be nice. Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho. Decent feud for Dean and Chris, you know, can't complain. I only see this going one way. I mean, if it's a long-term feud, I see Jericho perhaps, you know, winning 1 out of the 3, and Dean obviously winning 2 out of the 3, because Jericho often puts people over, minus AJ Styles, which he did kind of. So we'll see what happens on this one. I think if it's a one-off, definitely go with Dean. If it's a feud, I'd possibly go with Jericho stealing the win this time, and Dean perhaps, you know, getting a bit angry and aggressive, and maybe seeing a bit of a turn from him. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, everyone's been suggesting that for a while now. And of course, we have the main event being Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. Sorry, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. Unless I said Dean Ambrose, that would be what I was hoping for. As much as I like AJ Styles, I do. I mean, I think everyone's thinking that, oh, AJ Styles is, you know, gonna get the Bullet Club, back together. Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and screw Reigns. But to be honest, the more likely scenarios are either Finn Balor coming up and using Gallows and Anderson, and because AJ has kind of distanced himself from them and screwing him out of the title, and then they go into a feud, and then Reigns moves on to someone else. Or what I'd like to see is Reigns actually being the leader of Bullet Club, going full heel, and this all being a bit of a sham with Anderson and Gallows. But I think Reigns is retaining either way, even if AJ does go down the route of being heel. I think Reigns is obviously positioned as the champion, and that's what we're going to get. But we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. I'll be back on Monday. I'm not staying up for these pay-per-views anymore because I'll be watching them on Monday nights. So I'll be back probably Monday or Tuesday with my results video, and we'll see what happens. So until then, I'll see you later. Peace.